Hi, everybody, and welcome to our sixth episode, wow, of Women in Pool. And we're continuously growing. I'd like to say thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to the women who have come in and out and helped us through this. And to Ava, to LJ, to Kelly, to oh gosh, help me out here, Curtis. Joanne, of course, yes. And I'm missing somebody.
Allison.
Allison. Yeah. How do I miss Allison, right? So we want to say thank you. We're asking that you please take this and share this with your friends. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Mark White. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Tony. Hi, Eve. Hi, everybody. That you please share this to your page or a group to get us out there. We also want to let you know that we're now accepting sponsors. So if you know someone who wants to be a sponsor for this, please private message me and I'll handle all the work that goes along with that so that we can get this rolling where we are accepting all types of sponsors. This means that if Predator Q's comes in, Tony Russell Q's comes in, Mucci Q's comes in, doesn't make a difference what Q company wants to sponsor. If they want to send something our way, we are open to it to show you that we can unite, still have our own sponsors, unite and just work together. Okay, it's all about unity. So we'll start with introducing. We have Miss Kelly Quickfire Fisher right there. We have don't call her Lori, it's LoreeJon or LJ, Ogonowski-Brown. And here we have Miss which way does it go? There. Carly, Miss Carly Magee. As you know, she's probably one of the top fans um, over at here. She got me this t-shirt. I'm going to put it on in a minute, have a hot flash, and then take it off. But I'm going to do that now. LJ wanted to send a shout out as I put this on.
I'm shouting out to my sponsors, I guess, to everybody and to my sponsors, Championship Billiard Fabric and Dynasphere Balls and Mucci Q's.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'd like to just send a shout out to all my sponsors. There are many, and this is embarrassing because I have difficulty even remembering names. So I Want Simonis is my title sponsor. I'd like to send a shout out to I Want Simonis and all of my sponsors. You are equally as important. Thank you very much.
I have a quick question. I'm trying to share this on my phone and I don't have a share button. So I don't know.
No worries.
I'm on Women in Pool.
No worries.
Okay. And I was going to share.
Not at all. NJ Pool Player was just in so don't worry about that. We'll leave it up to the people to help us out. We're gonna put that on you guys to get us out there and to help us grow. All right, so the last episode we had, which was episode 5, it was part 1. We couldn't wrap it up in time, and it was basically are men better pool players than women. I get constant messages, PMs, as to why women can't run a 3-pack. And I think my facial expressions say it all. I can't. That's why I don't like to be on screen. Why women cannot beat men in open tournaments. I think that they should talk to Christina to catch about that. And I just want to talk about the differences between men and women. First of all, there's a physical difference. There is physical difference. We can't deny that. Secondly, there's a difference in us being handed dolls, usually as children, as opposed to being, sporty. We're told to be a certain way. So I want to kind of touch base on all the differences that we have. Also, the extreme disproportionate numbers, lopsided numbers that we have, which is another extremely huge factor. So if anybody wants to go first and talk about this, please take the wheel. And anybody wants to jump in, that's fine.
I think I'll start. I think that it's a broad question in my opinion. Also, it's a broad question in the sense of um, you know, are men better than women? I mean, that's you know what I'm saying. And like you said, Christina, to Koch or Kelly or whoever going into an open tournament and winning, you should. The question kind of should be, are the top men women in the country? You know what I'm saying? Better than the top women in the country. Something of that nature. Because yeah, I mean, I can beat guys, for sure. But there is a difference. It's frustrating to me when I watch. I think that if someone like Kelly, and who is a very aggressive woman player, continues to play with the men, I believe she can break through. I believe the gap will lessen. But there's not many, unfortunately, there's not many Kelly Fishers either. You know what I'm saying? Like that's,
Agreed.
don't get a big head either, Kelly. But
Let me zoom out on the camera.
yeah. So there's not many Kelly Fishers, or maybe Alice
Singh.
or Jean. Yeah, it's exactly.
Jean
Simming,
Belugas, yeah.
or Jean Lucas of back when, or whatever. It frustrates me, that I can't, that my brain doesn't work like the guys. And I know for a fact it doesn't, because when I am practicing with like Sammy, who's my coach, he's like, what are you doing? And my logical thinking is like, well, I'm going to go here to here to here. And he's like, no, you're going to go here to here to here. You know what I mean? And then I go, and my brain goes, oh, so I think that with, in the future learning, you have got, in order to lessen the gap, we've got to play with the men more. That's
Yes.
just my opinion.
Agreed. I believe that the more that we have tournaments where the women actually can get in there, I think that give a couple of years, in all honesty, and I think that the women will be cashing a lot more. And I mean the higher ranked professional. I'm not talking about someone going in and playing in, a 9-ball event with, 450 or 550 Fargos, and one single person or two single people go in that are, in the 600s and take that. That's not really a fair. What I'm talking about is like you said, Kelly and Christina and the women, because I notice the patterns on the table a lot, and Kelly definitely is more aggressive than most of the women.
Let me butt in there. But the question really should be.
I can barely hear you, Kelly. I'm sorry.
Oh, the question really should be is why? Why?
Yes.
All I do is watch what the guys do, or watch or learn how I learn and play what I think. But what's the difference between what LoreeJon was saying, why her brain doesn't as much as mine? Now, my brain doesn't work as much as Joshua Filler, nor does his wife's, Pia Filler. Why? She practices with him every day. The perfect opportunity. Christina to catch practices with Fida Ghost every day. So why? Now, in my opinion, the one thing that you did mention, I agree with, which we haven't got the depth of top players. Most women that are on our tour have got married, had children, worked, brought up children, still worked, and then played pool with that. A male player doesn't have to think of any of that, and he just focuses on playing pool. So, and the woman thinks of everything else, including laundry, etc. Now, that in consideration, or in context, sorry, is Well, no, because we've also got some women that don't have children, didn't have to work, and still can't do it. Why? My opinion is it's about the wiring of the brain.
Yes.
I believe that a man is wired differently to a point where, and no, please, no offense to any man, I've said this a billion times, again, a woman at any given moment is thinking up to 5 things at one time and she can't help it. The amount of times when I'm down on a shot and or I'm sat in my seat trying to focus and I can hear what not only he's saying and what she's saying, plus the referee there and the table over there, I can't help it and I'm trying to focus. When we're down on the shot, things come into our heads that shouldn't. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen to a man, but I'm saying a man is like a horse with blinkers. When he focuses, it's much easier for him to focus on that one thing at one time 100% than it is a woman. Therefore, no matter how good the female player is, I can run a rack as good as any top male player. I can put any ball that he can. But over a short race, we have a better chance than over a long race because of this multitasking or multi-thinking. Over a longer period of time, my brain will go in and out of focus more than his. Therefore, I will make more errors than him. Therefore, he will beat me. It's not about the level of play as such. It does come down to that because I miss more than him. He beats me, easy. But it's more to do with consistency in focus, which leads to consistency in the match, in the game.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
that's actually an excellent point. So, my thought here is I would love to have some type of challenge. And when I say challenge, this is what I mean. Don't break. Take the break completely out of it. Place a rack of 9 ball, right? And put the balls in the same spot. Keep the cue in the same spot. I want to see the way Kelly runs a rack, the way that, say, LJ would run a rack, the way Darren would run a rack, and the way that, say, Joanne would run a rack. Like, I want to see 2 men and 2 females, and I want to see the thought process, and maybe even what they're calling on that shot. That would tell me what their thought process is and how different it is.
You've got to remember that doesn't really answer anything because each player that you mentioned are all different levels. The only way that you could accurately get any feedback from that because when I teach players, no matter different levels, they come up with different patterns, different runouts. Even people's preference are different. I, from playing snooker, prefer to stop the ball. I'm getting better at using the rails now. We're playing with the guys, so I know the better shots using more rails. But for years, I just tried to stop balls and come off one rail. So you change as you improve, you change as you go on, you change as you learn. And the only way you'd actually get a true feedback from that would be to have 2 equal or 4 equal players, male and female, or 2 equal men, 2 equal women, at the exact same level, which is hard to judge doing that and and learning from that. But you couldn't have 4 different people at 4 different levels because everybody's going to have a slightly different take on it.
Different, yeah. Well, I'd still like to, with that being added, I think that would be a really challenging and unique approach to see what people are thinking from shot to shot, and then when they get off out of position, where they would say, this is where I would play a safe, or the male would say, no, I would go for this. But you see, the pressure's not there in the background because you know that nobody's getting to the table after you. So going to hug the rail is going to feel completely different, I guess. For me, it's just the way that when I watch Kelly, I notice a very similar pattern to, say, Darren. And with other players, I notice something different. When I see the younger players, I notice an extremely different pattern. But anyway, that's a really good point. But what are your thoughts on that, Kelly? Do you think that's an idea to see how, like they talked about, they were just saying in the comment section, they were talking about the wiring of a man's brain being different than a woman's, and then you came up with that.
I think the better way to be able to do that, well, how I felt that I learned more about the difference between the thought process of a man to a woman was playing mixed doubles. And I played mixed doubles with Darren. He was my partner in I forget the name of it now, Vivian's tournament in Florida that we played the mixed doubles. And it was amazing. You know, I thought I had the right shot 100%, right? Boom, boom, boom. And he's like, play that. I said, but why? He said, well, if you do that, you've got a larger area, your percentage is higher, you know, and that taught me a lot that way. I think mixed doubles is a great way to learn for any female player, because you have got pressure to make that shot for your partner. So, you know, you have got opponents that you're playing against. But yeah, I mean, as a test, I suppose it would, you know, be interesting for sure, Gloria, yeah.
So, I can't say it enrages me, but it does bother me when I get the messages, and some of them are quite rude, to be honest. And I know not in a million years would Kelly or LJ or Joanne get the same type of message that I get. So there we have. I'm just going to go through a couple of the questions just to let the players know that we are paying attention to them. We've been on about, I don't know, 18 minutes, I think now. So I want to do that beforehand. All right. So let's take a look. Let's go from the very, very top. Let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Eve. Good afternoon. To Tony as well. Tony Russell Hughes. He's one of my sponsors. Kyle Boutte, Mr. Pickles. We all know Mr. Pickles, I think. NJ Pooh Player, 2 o'clock. Women's 2 p.m. women's equals 2:30. Very funny. Very funny. Mark. And then right underneath that, Mark White wrote, "Unlike women to be late."
That's because you've
Thank
got 4
you.
women.
What is that?
You've got 4 women. That's why we're late.
Yes. Hello back to you, Ron. So this one seems to be the most popular of the two. It also seems okay. All right, I think so. Yeah, yay. Okay, man. Okay, so because we're streaming to 3 different places, I figured out how to do it through Zoom and still stream. So Mark White says hello to Carly. Let's see. Thank you, NJ, for sharing. Really do appreciate that. Stephen Fairway, hold on. Men practice more and put more. Whoa.
Yeah.
And put more effort and power. The difference with the break is the issue. I don't think that's solely the issue. I think that's a very small percentage. I believe any woman with the right practice schedule and dedication should be just as good as any man.
Well, okay, so I mean, he's basically saying that he doesn't think that. I mean, it may be a little bit sexist there in one sense, but also he's saying that he doesn't think that there's any difference between a man and a woman as far as play. Although he does boil it down to the practice.
I hear that a lot. I mean, there's, you know, you're going to get some men that are just, you know, period, sexist, period, whatever. And I brush them away. You know what I mean? They're just, you know, I'm not going to get into anything with them. But, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, the break does matter in one aspect. When I start watching, and I think it was years ago, I was watching Johnny Archer break. And, you know, when you're playing 9-ball or even especially 10-ball, which even makes more of a difference. But when you're playing 9-ball and the guy who's breaking only has to run 6 balls or 5 balls over and over and over to your 8, you know what I mean? Eventually that makes a difference.
But LoreeJon, I don't completely agree with that a woman, any woman if practice that break enough, it's not about power, it's not about muscle.
It's not. It is about where the cue ball ends up. And I've now that I've learned, but also
Sorry.
if we pocket, okay, so in 9-ball, I try to do the same every time, right? I try and keep my cue ball in the center or pull it back depending on the table and, different things. And if if I'm not making the 1 ball on the side and it's coming back towards the back rail, I'm going to try and draw back just a little bit so I possibly have that shot. I know that makes a huge difference. All I'm saying is when eventually, in other words, if I'm making 1 ball on every break and someone else has the power to make 3 or 4 balls and they are controlling their cue ball, eventually I think that kind of makes a little bit of a difference.
What I'm trying to say there is the break itself. I mean, I've seen whether it's a boy or a girl, Chinese players in China that are, I could pick them up and carry them over my shoulder, and they can break more powerful back then than what I could. And
right.
I thought that can't be right because I've got more muscle, I'm bigger than them, I'm strong. So I don't believe that about the break, that I think any woman, if practices it enough, can master the breaks. It's not about muscle, it's not about power, it's not about the build. It's actually about timing and speed.
Timing. Yes.
Now, regarding what you said about the 1 ball, if it's landed on the top rail, that means you're not hitting it hard enough to get it off that top rail back over to that corner pocket. So, instead of working on getting the cue ball up, then work on the more power, but it's speed and it's not about muscle or power, I don't believe. So I agree with the guy who just commented that any woman can practice, I believe, the break to master it as good as any man. I really do, because it's 1 shot. What I'm more saying is, and I'll compare it to a different type of game, chess. Chess requires absolutely zero anything physical. And yet the best players in the world are men. There's a clear gap between the difference between the best player, male player, and the female. It's huge. That's complete brain. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right. And I'm with you 1,000% on the brain difference on the
any 1 shot any woman can do equally as good. Any 1 shot, including the break, jumping, kicking.
Absolutely.
Any 1 woman can practice enough and do it as good as any man. The 1 shot, the 2 shot, it's consistency what lets us down, and that's purely by consistent focus. The lack of, or should I say, a man is consistent, 100% focused more than a woman. What do you reckon, Carly? You watch plenty of me play against.
I certainly have, and I'd like just to pop in and say I've watched you in particular take on Mills, Fine. Who did you play?
Mika went to the hill, double hill twice.
Last month. Mika, yes, Mika Immonen. And it was 8-8, hill. And it was 1 tiny little error that cost her beating Mika Immonen. But strength for strength, he was warmth. Kelly lost it a bit in places, but she pulled it back. And she pulled back 4 or 5 racks in total to draw hill. And it was so close in the final rack to win. That to me was skill. Didn't have anything to do with brain power. It was, hang on a minute, I need to pull my socks up here. And she did.
Well, the thing is that at any 1 match, whoever, me, whoever, LoreeJon, Alison, whoever, of course, if that consistent focus maintains during that match, and we're capable of beating anybody, of course. We've done it. There's not just me. There's been many women be great male players in snooker, pool, and many other sports, less physical. Darts, for example, there's that new lady coming through there. So I'm just saying across the board in pool, we haven't got the depth of the higher level because a lot of you have gone off and got pregnant and married and stuff. And
Thanks a lot.
and you know, and there's not the depth there of great of top players. And if we had more of it, we'd see more of these men getting beat. But overall, I'm speaking from my own personal experience. That's what I feel it is. And I'm not saying I'm right. That's just my opinion. But I really do think it's got a big part. If not, for me, I feel that is. And I'm working on the brain thing. I'm working on trying to improve it all the time. And, you know, I've obviously worked on it quite a lot to have improved it to the standard I've improved it to, but there's certainly clearly more room for improvement. And all we can do is keep trying.
I see what LJ was, I think what LJ was trying to initially say is, when it came to the break, if there's 2 less balls on the table, they can clean up more easily because there's not as much traffic and there's 2 less balls to make. So there's 2 less times that there's room for error. I think
100%, of course, but there's no reason why LJ can't make 4 off the break, is what I'm saying. It's one shot that we just need to master. We can do it as good as a man if we practice it enough, I think. And again, I could be wrong, but that's what I feel. Because it's one shot.
So we have the practice room coming in saying men and women's brains are physically different. There are lots of studies on it. Men are more. What does that say?
Spatially oriented.
Oh, spatially oriented. Excuse me. It doesn't mean women are any less good. Men are just wired for it, and that's absolutely true. Focusing can be harder for sure.
That was back when back in response
lefty players play different patterns than righties. Absolutely, 100%.
I know. Can I say that? Can I just make a comment to that?
Yeah.
Don't ever have a lefty partner when you're a right-handed person, because Jason Shaw and I were
in the wrong place.
oh my God, I kept having to use the bridge and I was like, what are you doing? And I was doing the same thing to him and it was not good.
It's funny because I could physically like see him and I could see his facial expressions as he's doing it,
Yeah.
like because his head usually goes up like that when he looks around and he's like and I could see LJ going, what? I know exactly what I did. This is what I do. So
I'm like, you're the shot maker. You have the nickname Eagle Eye. Go ahead, take it.
yeah, just leave me right here.
Exactly.
Lefty players play differently. Yep. So Mark White says it doesn't matter what sex you are. You know what? That's a person I'd like to have in here. Mark White and his perspective on things. You have to play the best players. You can't play many. I would like to see more women playing in open CSI Predator events as well as the women that run alongside them. Absolutely. The creative mind has a lot to do with it for sure. Left versus right-handed, gender excluded. Okay, so let's move down here. Someone's audio is a little wonky. All right, let's see. Practice room comes back with women tend to be better at communication. That's where they can gain an advantage over men. I'm sorry, Curtis is like scrolling as I'm reading. So if you see me doing that, that's why. You can interpret and convey complex ideas faster than men can. Use your strengths. Can we convey complex ideas faster than men?
No, we'll probably second guess everything like we already do.
Let me think about that. Hold on.
Really?
Okay, so why Jason, Kelly, Chris, and Allison? All right, why not Jason and Kelly and Chris and Allison?
Chris.
I'm guessing Melon is my thought. Sarah Rusi, a prime example of a break goddess. 5 foot tall and breaks harder than most men. Let's see what else there is. Sarah, I admire Sarah though. I really do. Chess is the same. This gentleman, whoever the practice room is, I applaud you because he has a lot of great points that actually mimic what the women are saying, but also I see the male's perspective from him. He's as like a devil's advocate, and he's kind of joining both together. So I really do appreciate your feedback, everybody's feedback, but I seem to resonate with his feedback there. Chess is the same. It's understanding spatial relationships. Fisher, in my opinion, you are better than some guys.
Absolutely.
I'll just speak for Kelly. She says thank you. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you. I'm trying to get better than more.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap up soon because we've been on for a little bit here. Wait.
You scroll.
Men and women, again, the difference. Women could actually learn the break faster because they are capable of putting what they see into words faster.
Into words.
Actually, I believe that's true. Muscles have zero to do with the good. What is that?
You said we're better able to put it into words faster. Words and action are very different.
Yeah, he said muscles have zero to do with the good spread. It's all about speed.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing that I was told, and I'll tell you who told me this in a discussion exactly on the same topic. It was Jennifer Beretta, and she won't mind me saying it. Obviously, you know, she used to be a bodybuilder in competition. And she explained to me that a woman's muscle, 1 minute, let me get this right, because I am quoting somebody here. So let's not quote her. Let's just say this is my
paraphrase it. Yes.
That a female's muscle has a slower reaction than a man's. So therefore, with the break, she believes that the muscle has something to do with it. Nothing about power. It's to do with the muscle reaction or something like that. And a woman's is slower than a man's. So therefore, a man can generate more speed.
Actually, that's really true, and because of the testosterone and the different makeup, genetic makeup that we have, men actually grow muscle faster than women do. Because when my dad was a bodybuilder, so he got me into working out when I was only but 11 years old, and I remember he would tell me to eat specific foods and how much protein to eat in order to gain that muscle, because to build muscle, you have to actually rip the old, and then it repairs itself, and that's how it gets bigger and bigger. So I can see that. I can actually, I'm very visual. I'm a very visual person. So I'm always, when I'm thinking, I'm seeing things in my head. I wonder if that's something that a lot of female pool players have, that mimic men, and non-female pool players. I wonder if are all of you visual in mind when you think of something? Do you kind of see it or no?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of women, my understanding, if there's any women chiming in who don't, well, if you don't play pool, you probably wouldn't be watching this. So, but I'm kind of eager to know if women are visual, as because men are known to be visual, right, ladies?
I have no idea, to be honest, but I would say I am probably. I've never really thought about it. What about you, LoreeJon?
Well, I mean, I know I'm more of I'm a visual learner. If you can stand in front of me and talk to me for 3 hours, and I might fall asleep, the focus is going to be, oh my God, squirrel, and then I have to come back and listen again. Verse. If somebody is showing me something, I can learn it. I can learn it like that. Definitely. I know that. I know I'm a visual learner. So Jason Shaw was the one who taught me also how to break better. And he made fun of me because he said, in his accent, Scottish accent, he's like, I won't repeat what he said.
I'll do it.
Yeah, no, it has a bad word in it. So but he told me, he said, you spend so much time rocking back and forth and doing all this stupid stuff. He goes, and by the time you hit, you're standing straight up. He goes, so all your power is going up. he goes, stop with the body stuff. He says, concentrate more on your arm. He says, I promise you, if you follow through just on the break, he goes, just practice following through on the break and staying down. And he goes, you'll get a better result than what you do here. And I was laughing, but he was so right. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Thank you for that, LJ, because I'm a Jill in the box. I don't even hit the cue ball and I'm like in the ceiling.
Exactly.
So
your power goes up instead of like I kept rocking and trying to push forward. Well, the more I rocked and the more action I had, I just go straight up. So it wasn't working.
you know what I've noticed? Savannah Easton, little Savannah. I
Yeah.
absolutely adore her, by the way. She's just adorable, beautiful little soul. Have you seen the backswing on her break and the pause that she has before she actually strikes, and she's clear on exactly where she wants to hit it? She has a really phenomenal break for 12 years old, I have to say. With some practice, I think she's going to be so far up in the top women. It's going to be amazing. I would love to see a match between Kelly and her one day.
Some great juniors coming through. There's a small
Really
handful of girls, American, and there's a small handful of Europeans, let alone China's been quiet for a few years. We've got probably 100 over there in practicing in lockdown. So, there's definitely, a good few coming through from Europe and from America, which is great to see. It really is, because we've got to keep that, them youths coming through and improving for us to get, in the future, that quantity and that level that we're all talking about right now. One day somebody will, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Maybe a rewire brain transplant later is available. Something.
I'll keep mine. I'll change my accent, but I'll keep the brain, even though it doesn't really work as well. They're probably equally not, Sophia Mass, Savannah, Mayman, Europeans, the Austrian girl. I don't know who the Austrian girl is. I'm sorry. But Sophia Mass is another one. Pink Dagger, she's another one coming through. Gia Fiore, another one. There are really some really great. But we're gonna just say a couple words and then wrap it up here. So it's not a matter of, and I don't think it's a matter of men being actually better than women. I don't know how else to say it, but I guess it's a matter of men and women just being different. And I think it's a matter of learning, like LJ was saying, Jason explained to her, this is how it works, physics and physically. So anybody want to close up on this, wrap this up?
Can I just say one thing, just to
sure.
end it, just to not to end it, but just to finish up? Why is it such a big thing whether men are as good as women? You don't get this in tennis. You don't get it in other sports. Why? I don't understand why I or any other female should have to be as good as any male in order to have accomplished good things on my own merit. Why do I have to compare myself to a guy?
Thank you.
At the end of the day,
we will quit on that note.
This has been how many years in debating? Kelly, that is an excellent point. And that's why I want to bring things like this to light, because it always seems as though the women are constantly, we're compared all the time. We're not men.
Gloria, Serena Williams and the Williams sisters don't get compared to Nadal.
No.
Correct.
Agreed.
They have to? And I know it's more physical, but why would they have to? Because in their own right, they're champions, they're the elite and the top of their sport as a female, and it's warranted and on its own merit. There's no comparison needed. So I don't understand what the big deal is, first of all, even though, you know, I personally am going out trying to challenge the guys. I enjoy playing them. It's nothing to do with whether or not I'm as good as them or not. All I'm doing is trying my best, you know, but I'm not bothered whether I am or not, because I'm doing my best and trying. My ultimate goals are all what I do in my succession of women, world championships, women's tournaments. Of course, I'd love to kick some butt in the men's game, but if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. At the end of the day, I do my best, and my main focus is on what I do in my own female sport, billiards of pool.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, because we have it's all about what we consider successful. So if I wanted to start a tour and I had 4 tournaments, and the idea of success in my mind is that I ran 4 tournaments and got full fields and never did another dag-nabbit thing, but another person wants to do something completely different and live stream and do it, and that's their idea of success. So everybody's idea of success is within them. So what they accomplish and what they consider success is maybe just running a 1-pack, another person running a 2-pack, another person being a world champion, a Moscone Cup, whatever it may be. So I see Kelly's perspective. Kelly, always bring a very unique perspective to the table. I appreciate that. And LJ, the same. You bring a lot of you know, the WPBA with you, and a lot of knowledge about what's gone on over the years. I really appreciate that. And Carly, thank you so much. I so appreciate you joining us. It has been a pleasure.
I enjoyed it. I didn't say much, but I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed having you on here. And Mark White said he loves us all. We love you too, Mark. All right, we're actually going to make this an early day. Everybody, thank you, Jeffrey, Ron, admin, Mark, and all the gentlemen. This is Women in Pool. I'd like to see more women.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Absolutely.
No.
So I'm so excited because this Thursday evening, I will be inducted into not the women's, but the National Polish Sports Hall of Fame. And I was nominated this year. Thank you. I was nominated this year and I made it. I didn't think I was going to make it because there were just way too many like things. I was like, it's just an honor to be nominated. And then a couple months ago, I found out that I was being inducted. So, yeah. And you know what? And I am a woman, and I'm damn proud I'm a woman, and I want to be the best woman. And I was the best woman, and I'm going to continue to play a sport that age has no limit, which is awesome, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's some people that would be like, oh, well, big deal. Well, yeah, it is a big deal. It's a big deal to her, and she worked really hard to get where she is now. So congratulations, LJ. And please make sure that we can get some pictures so I could put them up over here on Women in Pool, on Whip. Wow. On Whip. There's no H in there.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go, does anybody want me to say anything with an English accent?
No.
Raise your hands.
Bye-bye.
Raise your hands. Okay. Kelly, there's no reason. Kelly's like this. Turn me up.
Even my watch.
What? Wait, what did you say, Miss Fisher?
My watch is telling me to keep moving. Almost there.
Oh, yes. You know what? It is that time, isn't it?
No, I'm being serious. That's what it's saying.
No, I know. That's mine clicks off too, because we've been over. We were supposed to be on for 30 minutes. We're getting better. We are women, so we do have a little bit more chatter. But this time was really, really, to me, one of the most informative and one of the most informative ones that we've had so far. Like the thoughts, some things I never thought of. By the way, hi bro, hi Ty Speedwell. I've not had this. Curtis is hanging his head. I want you to see this. I'm going to pull the camera over here. He's hanging his head between his legs going, God, please shut up. Everybody shut up. So if he's bruised, he fell down the stairs. The end. All right, ladies. I bet we have to cut that out. All right,
Bye,
ladies.
ladies.
Say goodbye. Mark said to say goodbye in English.
Meet you all.
Bye, Gloria.
Lovely to meet you. Bye, darlings.
Bye, everybody.
So long. So long, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank
10
you.
minutes later
Bye.
and 15 minutes later to say goodbye. All right, NJ. Got you.
So long.